Alright. The Bay MacBook Pro. I have not used this scene yet. I set this up the other day and I just haven't had a chance to use it. So this is my excuse to use it. Thanks, you want to kill me. So this is all in Illustrator. I'm using Illustrator artboards. And I've got it set up to where it's laid out like a traditional regular style guide. Here it comes. It's a big file. Mine's like 200 megabytes. Okay, so let me zoom out and I'll show you kind of everything. Oh, the Mac is sleepy today. So there's a lot of notes and stuff on it right now. We reviewed it yesterday. One of the things that I start with is the typography. So just pick a couple fonts. A lot of this I was coming into, like everything was already established. And so I'm spelling it out. I'm writing it all down, kind of coming up with the general rules and things like that. And I'm working with like all the developers and stuff. So we're building like the guide where you need to leave room for innovation. You don't want to spell it all out to where you're going to slap someone's hand when they try and do something wrong. You want to leave it a little bit open with your rules so you can add stuff in the future. You want to make it a little bit flexible. But I mean, like pages like this, I go into like kind of anatomy of what the page might look like. I'll zoom out a bit. And then like stuff like this. Like I review just some of the inputs. So we've got like radio buttons, form input fields. I talk a little bit about them, how the buttons work. We're already using Bootstrap for everything, so none of this we're building from scratch. We're just modifying what's already there. So I'm working within the parameters of what they've got. If you're starting from scratch, though, you know, sky's the limit. You can do whatever you want. Yeah, you don't need to make it 38 pages. You'd be fine with like 4. You want colors, you'll want fonts, you'll want like buttons and things like that, like regular input stuff. But like, this is my color page. Here, we do a lot of print material too. So I go over, you know, like the RGB, CMYK. I cover all the regular, you know, all the normal things. And then you'll have, if you're doing just for the web, I don't think you're going to need like a logo style guide. Like a lot of the stuff shows like spacing and placement and things like that, so you probably don't need that. I also have like examples of what the site looks like on the front, other stuff. This is like all my notes. If you were to wireframe things out, like your wireframes without spelling anything out might look something like this. Where you just kind of diagram a page, but you don't do any graphics for it. You're just like, this is how pages should be laid out in the future. And make it flexible enough. Like, none of this is fully detailed. And there's a couple other options in here. Just like, yeah, here's some other ideas of ways to lay it out. That way I can hand this to a vendor, or just anybody in general, like an intern or another designer, and they can come in and they're like, oh yeah, I get it. And then that gives them like the ability to kind of create on their own without strictly sticking to the, you know, the formula. They can kind of vary it up a bit. Just like social media sizes. I mean, this is way overkill for what you're trying to do. But like if you just zoom out and look at everything, in-house I can take this and print out just like a particular section. Like, oh, you just need to know about the fonts and colors. Sure, here's your 2 pages. Or if you need to know like the logo, you know, how that works. Then you're like, yeah, here's the logo, and you hand your vendor just the pages they need. So yeah, but that's that. I mean, that's a style guide. So, but for web, to answer your question, you'll need the colors, you'll need the fonts, you'll need like the UI elements, like the buttons and stuff. You can look around like Behance. Close this up. You can look around Behance and figure out like exactly what you might need to do in terms of like buttons and elements, and just see, you know, there's a lot of UI kits out there, so just grab like 2 or 3 of those and use them as an example or like a template that you can build from. You know, don't use any of their stuff, but just the amount of things on there is kind of covers it all. But odds are those are usually overkill, so you don't need everything on it. Just pick the things that you need for the site you're building. Okay, yeah, SAS library.